Nowadays, with the way that warfare is fought, we have these images in our mind of soldiers sitting on an armchair with a big gulp next to them and a joystick sending bombs to the enemy. You know, sending drones, flying drones, sending bombs hundreds of miles away. And one of the issues, and it's been brought up, it's one of the ethical issues that come up with modern warfare, is that it's hard to feel like it's more than just a video game. When you're sitting in the comfort of your own house, remote fighting. If it's better about remote working, it's remote fighting, you know? And people are dying, lives are ending, and you just feel like you pushed a button and you saw this explosion on the screen. You've seen that, right? It's an ethical issue because it doesn't feel real. When soldiers are out there, there's a sense I'm in battle. My life is at stake, and the other people's lives are at stake. Friends' lives are at stake, and enemies' lives are at stake. It's real, it's visceral. You could feel it. You're at war. But when you're doing remote warfare, there's an issue that perhaps you won't be taking the war as seriously. And it's a phenomenal mashal to the fact that the Mesilas Yesharim says that every Yid is at war with his Yetzer Hara, and we naively think that it's a mashal. We naively think that war, that's a serious situation. And it's kind of cute that we call our Milchemes HaYetzer war, that's kind of cute. It's like a mashal of war. But the reality is not that way. In war, life in this world is at stake. In the war with the Yetzer Hara, life in the next world is at stake. What's going on inside of us, in our neshamas, in our futures, in our kedusha, in what's, the greatness of who we are and where we can bring ourselves, it's real and it's important and our lives depend on it and it's tremendous, but it feels a little like we're sitting in an armchair with a big gulp playing a computer game. Because I don't see the tremendous explosion of Kedusha that happens in Shemayim when I start the Tosfos at Seifa Olam in Yevamis. I don't see the unbelievable power that gets added to my nefesh when I put a tefillin shel yad onto my hand. I can't appreciate how myself and my family and the entire Klal Yisrael are altered forever when I turn around and welcome the Kala and say, Boi v'shalom ateres ba'ala, by Kabbalah Shabbos. But these things are real. The problem is that they're hard to see. It's like remote warfare. And the same thing is true the negative. We have a hard time imagining the casualties that happen when there are missteps, mistakes in our Avodas Hashem. And it's important to notice this now. Because Parshas Kiseitze la mulchama ala yevecha, when you go out to war against your enemy, kind of interesting that it says against your enemy. I mean, I can't imagine who else you would go to war against. Obviously, you're going to war against your enemy. And Rashi brings, as the Rosh Hashiva quoted on Monday, Rashi brings, like Dibra Torah Ela Keneged Yetzer Hara. The Torah is speaking to the Yetzer Hara. Let me explain the Pashup Pshat briefly, as the Rosh Hashiva did, and then we'll go to a deeper Pshat. But the Rosh Hashiva explained that Rashi is saying that there is a sakana that a Jewish man, will go out to war, and in the chaos of war, and in the panic and the threat of war, of real war, visceral war, he'll spot a beautiful woman, and because of the chaos of war, it'll be difficult for him to restrain himself from taking her. So the Torah gives him a way to do so in a manner that's permitted. Like Dibra Torah Ela Keneged Yetzer Hara. The Torah speaks Keneged the Yetzer Hara. The Torah's understanding of the Yetzer Hara. There's a lot to say about that and what that means, but that's not Mishmar Torah. Maybe that's for another time. What's the for us tonight is what Rabbeinu Bechaya says. That Rabbeinu Bechaya says that Lo Dibra Torah Ela Keneged Yetzer Hara has a deeper layer of pshat, and it's informing you that this parsha of Kiseitze is not talking about a war against an enemy. It's talking about the war against the Yetzer Hara. Lo Dibra Torah Ela Keneged Yetzer Hara, and that's why it says your enemy, because it refers to the great enemy of mankind. Our greatest enemy, the greatest threat to our life, which is our Yetzer Hara. Like Dibra Torah Ela Keneged Yetzer Hara. And the entire parsha, the Sfarim HaKadoshim, Reb Tzaddik and the Sefer Pri Tzaddik brings b'shem the Zohar, explaining every piece of the parsha, how it corresponds to the war against the Yetzer Hara. And we're not going to go through the entire parsha, but I want to highlight certain parts of it, because you and me, together, we are shutfim in a war. Sitting down into a new Zman, to a new El Zman. We've opened a new front in the war against the Yetzer Hara, in our efforts to bring the Geula. And as fellow soldiers, I want to discuss what the Torah says about this war with the Yetzer Hara. Reb Tzaddik quotes one of the Gedolei HaChasidus, who said that people think that the pasuk is talking about war, and there's a mashal to the Yetzer Hara. He says, no, the Torah is talking about the Yetzer Hara. There's a mashal to war. So the Torah tells us, when you go out to war against your Yetzer Hara, and Hashem will give him into your hands, you'll be successful. We'll get more about that later. Vishavisa shivyoi, and you will capture his captives. Explain the Sfarim. Listen, this unbelievable Yisai. This has happened to us. We're casualties of what this pasuk is describing. When we fall to our Yetzer Hara, when we're enmeshed, when we're trapped by the Yetzer Hara, he takes hostages. The Yetzer Hara takes hostages, a very, very, very painful word the last 2 years. He takes hostages, and those hostages are that he takes your talents, and he takes your skills, and your intelligence, and your sense of humor, and your abilities, and he takes them and he uses them for his purposes, and he doesn't allow you to flourish. Vishavisa shivya, if you fight the Yetzer Hara, you will capture the captives that he took. You will free the hostages. You have the capacity, say the Sfarim HaKadoshim, through fighting the Yetzer Hara and winning, to free up parts of yourself that you don't even know you have. The Yetzer Hara pins us down. He limits us. He handicaps us. And if we could fight the Yetzer Hara with Mesiras Nefesh, and we could be energized, as we all are now, in the beginning of a Zman, with the power of an El Zman, of a fresh Masechta, of a new start, if we take that energy, we will discover kaiches we didn't know we had. I know what's going on in my share room when I give share, and I am seeing in the room, anyone who's in my share knows this, and I'm sure it's taking place in other shiurim as well, I'm seeing talents and kaiches coming out that are new. Same guy, new talents. Because when people apply themselves in Avodas Hashem, I shouldn't be surprised. Vishavisa shivya, the Yetzer Hara has to give up his hostages. And we become whole again, and stronger again, and more powerful. Vishavisa shivya. And then, the Ra'isa Bashivya. You'll see among the captives, from all of the beautiful things that you are going to recapture, that you are going to free from conquering the Yetzer Hara, you're going to see that beautiful Isha Yefastar, that beautiful woman. Says the Mefarshim, the beautiful Isha is referring to our neshama HaKadosh. It's referring to our neshama. Because this happens, this happens, that when the Yetzer Hara, I can speak only from my own experiences, but I have a feeling that I'm not alone, that there are others in this room that know what this feels like. that when I get trapped by the Yetzer Hara, I stop getting excited about Ruchnius. It stops exciting me. And I could see people around me even getting excited. And I just feel like they're seeing in color and I'm seeing in black and white. I'm just not excited. And it could come time for a yontif, and there are people singing and excited, jumping, singing. And I'm tired. I don't know what they're so excited about. And I could lose. It becomes dull. The fizz goes out, like it just loses its sharpness, and we just don't have that excitement. You know why that is? Because Bashivya, among the captives, is your neshama. And part of what the Yetzer Hara does is he covers over the neshama. But when we fight the Yetzer Hara, and we win battles against the Yetzer Hara, we start to notice our neshama again. How many people in this room, I can't even imagine, sat and learned this week, I'm starting to get emotional just talking about it, sat and learned this week and started to feel something in Ruchnius, in learning, in something that they didn't feel in a long time. Because just applying yourself to a new limud. Suddenly, V'ra Isa Bashivya, you see among the captives, Isha Yefas Torah, this beautiful woman, this Neshama Kedosha, this holy Neshama. And you know what happens to a Jew when he encounters his Neshama? V'choshakta ba, and you desire her. Because when a Yid encounters his Neshama, he feels pulled towards her. He wants her. He wants to be with her. He wants to live that Neshama life. He wants to live connected to that spirituality. He wants to look at the world from that angle. He wants to see the world from a greater, broader, more godlistic a place. So v'ra'isa b'ashivya eishes yefas Torah v'choshakta ba v'lokachta lecha leisha. Take her for a wife. Make her yours. Connect with her. Don't give up. Hold on to your neshama and don't give it up. When you have that moment that you can suddenly say, I think I feel my neshama. I think I feel that a little, I'm moved for the first time in a long time. The coverings, the darkness, the insulation that was separating between me and my Kedusha seems to have weakened a little bit. I'm feeling something. Grab her and hold on to her. V'lokachta lecha leisha. Make her your wife. How do you do this? Going to war against your enemy. It's unbelievable. The Torah doesn't say that you should go to war against your enemy, and if you win the war, then you will capture captives. The Torah tells you that if you go to war against your enemy, you will win. Kiseitze la milchama ala yevecha, unesonai Hashem Elokecha biyodecha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will put him in your hands. You will win. It's a haftacha. You will win. If you go out to war, you will win. And this is the point. It's maybe the first words of the parsha, but it's going to be our last words of tonight. That the parsha begins with the ingredients. If you want to win, is kiseitze la milchama al oyevecha, that you go out to war against your enemy. You know, as you get older, you start to meet more and more people who have given up a lot since they left yeshiva. I'm sure I'm not alone in this room of people that know, relatives, friends, sometimes people that were very close to us, that at some point as life went on, and life is difficult sometimes, and they weren't connected with yeshiva, and they lost touch with their learning, and questions started forming in their minds, and before you turn around, a month turns into a year, turns into 5 years, and suddenly their Yiddishkeit is non-existent or not recognizable. I'm sure I'm not the only one in the room who has experienced such a thing. And you wonder, in today's day and age, 2025, you wonder, how do I protect myself from that? I'm here now in yeshiva, and I see the truth, and I appreciate, I see my neshama, I appreciate growth, but I'm not going to be here forever. And I'm going to be out in the world, and I'm going to and I'm going to be worried about parnasa, and I'm going to be raising a family, and I know what happens. What keeps me alive? What keeps me sensitive to ruchnius? And the answer is that you are in the war. We don't stop fighting. Fighting doesn't mean a depressing life. In fact, a person that lives his life fighting the Yetzer Hara is in a world of constantly being invigorated and being nischadesh again. It's not depressing. It's not like being in the battlefield and there's mud all over your face and you don't know when you're going to have your next shower and you're starving. It's not like that. When you fight against the Yetzer Hara, the fight is crucial and dangerous, but it's also invigorating. You know, we've pointed this out, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after he created the world, decided to bring a mabel. Maybe we'll talk more about this in Parshas Noach in a few weeks. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to bring a mabel. And the Psukim say in the end of Parshas Bereshis, that HaKadosh, when it's describing that Hashem wanted to bring a mabel, it says, check it out, in the end of Parshas Bereshis, it says that they were v'haya yetzer machshavos libam rak kol hayom, that the thoughts of their heart were only evil all day. What does that mean? The Torah is not exaggerating. The Torah is not poetry. The Torah says that in those days, their thoughts were evil the entire day. What does that mean? What that means is that they stopped fighting. They gave up the fight. They said, I give in. Something that nobody in this room has done, Baruch Hashem, because or else you wouldn't be here. They gave up the fight. They just said, I can't fight anymore. I'm tired. I'm just going to let my body get what it wants. I'm just going to let my neshama sink. I can't fight anymore. And that's when Hashem brings a mabel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need you to win every battle. Loi nitna Torah lemalachei ashares. The Torah wasn't given to malachim. Ein tzadik ba'aretz asher yaseh tov v'lo yechta. There's nobody who doesn't make mistakes. We make mistakes and we fall. That's not what Hashem is looking for. Hashem's not looking for perfection. Hashem's not looking for people that don't fall. Hashem's not looking for people that don't make mistakes. Hashem is looking for people that stay in it. Don't give up. Don't be down for the count. I don't care if you fall 100 times. You get up and try the 101st time. And that number may seem big to you, but let me tell you a little secret. It might be 1,000 times. It might be 10,000 times. And you're going to tell yourself, I'm going to come up to Shamayim, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to say, you fell 10,000 times. What am I supposed to do with you? And you will respond to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Do you know what it means that I fell 10,000 times? It means that I stood up 10,000 times. And I tried again 10,000 times. And for that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us. And for that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mavtiach us, that we will ultimately be successful. Ki seitze la milchama ala yevecha. When you go out to war, go out of your comfort zone. Go out of your regular habits. Go out of what you did until now. And take a step, a courageous step. Have courage. Be daring. If you know anything about war, usually victory comes to the one who dares. The one who's courageous. The one who's outrageous. Those are the ones that win, and that's our job in our Avodas Hashem, in the ultimate war of Lei Dibra Torah Ela Keneged Yetzer Hara, to be courageous. Maybe I fell 1,000 times. Maybe I fell 10,000 times. I'm going to keep asking Hashem for Siyata Dishmaya, and I am in this war. Ki seitze la mulchama ala yevecha. And in that schus, in the schus of that war, especially in the month of Elul, when the pasuk says "Uvachso es avia v'es ima yerach yamim," that she will cry for her father and mother for a month's time. Chazal say, "Da yarcha de Elul." That's the month of Elul. the month of yearning for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help every single one of us, because this room is a room right now, everyone sitting in this room are warriors. If you're here and you're in yeshiva and you're trying to continue remaining attached to Ruchnius at this stage of life, then you are one of Hashem's warriors. You should take that title. It's an unbelievable title. There is no title more that you could be prouder than that, than being one of Hashem's warriors. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should guide every single one of you to be able to find your path to going out to war. And each one of you, time and time again, should experience the unbelievably delicious taste of Unesanai Hashem Aleikecha Biyadecha, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will put the Yetzer Hara in your hands, and you'll feel the taste, the beauty, and the sweetness of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yashikayach.